The year 2000 Sacagawea $1 coin is not just a piece of metal to collectors who truly understand its story. It is a modern legend wrapped in golden color and mystery. When this coin was first released, most people saw it as ordinary pocket change, something to be spent without a second thought. But hidden among millions were a few extraordinary examples that turned this simple dollar into a symbol of overnight destiny. The Sacagawea Dollar represents exploration, courage, and survival, and for some collectors, it represents something even greater. The possibility that fortune can quietly sit in your hand without you ever realizing it. What makes the 2000 Sacagawea coin from the Philadelphia Mint so powerful is not just its age, but the rare and unusual versions that slip through the system. In the world of coin collecting, perfection and mistakes are equally valuable, and this coin carries both legends. Some pieces were struck with extraordinary sharpness, mirror-like surfaces, and flawless details that make them stand out instantly to trained eyes. Others are surrounded by stories of rare planchets, unusual finishes, and experimental strikes that were never meant for public circulation. These are the coins that ignite excitement, raise heartbeats, and spark bidding wars when they surface. Collectors whisper about these coins because they were born at a turning point in U.S. coinage history. The Sacagawea Dollar was meant to revive the use of the dollar coin, and during its early production, intense experimentation took place. When experimentation meets mass production, magic sometimes happens. A few coins emerge different, heavier in presence, richer in texture, and visually unmatched. These rare survivors are the reason why some Sacagawea dollars are no longer valued as currency, but as artifacts capable of commanding astonishing prices. The phrase unimaginable worth is not exaggeration in the collector world. It is reality driven by demand, rarity, and condition. A Sacagawea coin preserved in untouched, flawless condition is like time frozen in metal. When paired with an unusual strike or mysterious origin, its value multiplies dramatically. Serious collectors are not buying metal. They are buying stories, moments, and history captured forever. That is why a single coin, once ignored, can rise to a level where its price feels unreal to the average person. What truly separates life-changing coins from ordinary ones is knowledge. Many people unknowingly sell rare coins for a fraction of their potential because they do not understand what they possess. The 2000 Sacagawea Dollar teaches a powerful lesson. Never rush, never assume, and never underestimate a coin just because it looks familiar. In the hands of an informed collector, this coin becomes a key, one that can unlock doors to financial freedom, recognition, and legacy. There's also an emotional power attached to this coin that few others carry. Sacagawea herself symbolizes guidance and transformation, and it feels almost poetic that a coin bearer her image can transform lives. Stories circulated collectors who discovered a rare example by chance, held on to it patiently, and later watched its value explode beyond imagination. These stories are not about luck alone. They are about vision, patience, and respect for history. In today's market, where rare coins are seen as alternative wealth, the finest Sacagawea dollars are treated like treasures. Wealthy collectors and investors compete not just with money, but with passion. When two people both believe a coin completes their collection, price becomes secondary. This is how values reach heights that shock outsiders. A single verified, exceptional Sacagawea dollar can command attention that most assets never will. If you ever hold a 2000 Sacagawea dollar, especially one from the Philadelphia Mint, pause before you act. Look closely at its surface, its strike, its feel. Coins like this are silent. They do not announce their importance. They wait for the right person to recognize them. Selling such a coin cheaply is not just a financial loss. It is a loss of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that may never return. The power of this coin lies in its contrast, humble appearance, extraordinary potential. That is what makes it dangerous to the uninformed and priceless to the wise. Many fortunes are not built through noise and attention, but through quiet discoveries that others overlook. The Sacagawea dollar stands as proof that greatness can hide in plain sight, disguised as something ordinary. In the end, the 2000 Sacagawea $1 coin is more than currency. It is a reminder that history, rarity, and patience can turn a single dollar into a symbol of unimaginable wealth. If you have one, protect it, study it, and respect it. Because sometimes Destiny doesn't knock loudly. It jingles softly in your pocket, waiting for the moment you finally understand its true power. The Sacagawea $1 coin from 2001, especially with the P Mint mark, has become one of the most talked about modern American coins. Not because every example is priceless, but because a very small number carry stories, mysteries, and rare characteristics that have electrified collectors across the world. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary golden-colored dollar, yet hidden within certain pieces is a combination of history, minting experimentation, and collective desire that has turned this coin into a legend whispered about in auctions and private collections. What makes the 2001 P Sacagawea Dollar so fascinating is the era in which it was produced. The U.S. Mint was still experimenting with alloys, strikes, and production techniques for the Sacagawea series. While the coin is not silver in composition, some pieces exhibit extraordinary surface qualities, off-metal appearances, or experimental planchet traits that confuse even seasoned collectors. These unusual examples are the ones that spark headlines and rumors of values reaching staggering heights. Among elite collectors, the true power of this coin lies in mint errors and transitional anomalies. Coins struck with improper metal mixtures, unusual weight, double details, or ultra-sharp specimen-like finishes can command prices that defy logic. When a 2001 P Sacagawea Dollar escapes the mint with something that should never have happened, it stops being a coin and becomes a one-of-a-kind artifact. In the world of numismatics, uniqueness is where fortunes are born. Another factor that fuels imagination is condition. A flawless 2001 P Sacagawea Dollar with blazing luster, perfect rims, and untouched surfaces can feel almost unreal in hand. Coins that survive without scratches, contact marks, or dulling are incredibly scarce, and when paired with a rare striking trait, their value multiplies dramatically. Collectors don't just buy metal, they buy perfection frozen in time. Stories circulated collectors who unknowingly held these coins for years, spending them like ordinary dollars, never realizing what they had. That idea, that life-changing value could be hiding in plain sight, is what makes the Sacagawea Dollar so emotionally powerful. It represents the dream that history, luck, and patience can collide in the palm of your hand, transforming something common into something extraordinary overnight. The 2001 P issue also carries symbolic weight. Sacagawea herself represents guidance, survival, and unseen strength. Many collectors feel the symbolism mirrors the coin's journey. Quietly overlooked by the public, yet fiercely respected by those who truly understand it. This emotional connection adds another layer of demand that pure metal value could never explain. When a truly rare example appears on the market, competition becomes fierce. Private buyers, registry collectors, and high-end investors step in, driving prices into territory that sounds unbelievable to outsiders. These sales don't happen every day, and they rarely happen publicly, which only deepens the myth and mystique surrounding the coin's potential worth. It is important to understand that not every 2001 P Sacagawea Dollar is worth millions, but some are worth far more than anyone would expect from a modern coin. The difference between face value and life-changing value can come down to microscopic details only experts know how to spot. That is why collectors warn: never rush to sell, never clean the coin, and never assume you know its worth without professional evaluation. The greatest danger is impatience. Coins like these punish haste and reward wisdom. A quick sale for a small profit could mean losing out on something far greater. In the collector world, legends are made by those who wait, research, and protect what they own until the right moment arrives. In the end, the 2001 P Sacagawea Dollar is not just a coin. It is a reminder that modern history still holds secrets. Somewhere, perhaps in a drawer or a pocket, one of these rare examples may still exist, waiting to change a life forever. And that possibility alone is what keeps collectors searching, dreaming, and believing that fortune can arrive without warning, shining softly in gold. The story of a 1778 Sacagawea $1 coin sounds like a legend pulled straight from a treasure hunter's dream, and that is exactly how it should be understood, as a myth, not a historical reality. In 1778, the United States had no dollar coins, no federal mint system, and Sacagawea herself had not even been born yet. The power of this tale comes from how easily imagination can turn hope into belief, and belief into exaggeration. Many people hear such stories and assume hidden riches are waiting in their pocket change, but true knowledge is what really protects your fortune. Sacagawea was a real historical woman, a Lemhi Shoshone guide who later helped the Lewis and Clark expedition in the early 1800s. Her image was honored on the Sacagawea $1 coin introduced in the year 2000, more than 2 centuries after 1778. Because of this, any coin dated 1778 with Sacagawea on it cannot exist, no matter what stories surround it. Understanding this single fact instantly separates reality from illusion, and that awareness alone can save collectors from costly mistakes. Another powerful myth wrapped around these stories is the claim that the Sacagawea dollar is a silver coin. In truth, Sacagawea dollars were struck in a manganese brass-clad composition, not silver. Their golden color fuels confusion, making many believe they are made from precious metal. This misunderstanding has been used countless times to inflate values and create false urgency, pushing people to believe they hold a life-changing treasure when they actually hold a modern circulation coin. That said, the Sacagawea dollar is not worthless. Far from it. Certain rare minting varieties, experimental strikes, and special early releases have become genuinely valuable to serious collectors. These coins are prized not because of fantasy dates or impossible histories, but because of subtle design differences, unusual finishes, and extremely limited distribution. Their value comes from documented rarity, not dramatic promises of overnight billions. One of the reasons myths spread so quickly is because real high-value coins do exist, and people assume every coin with a familiar face might be one of them. In reality, coins worth huge sums are usually tied to errors, prototypes, or historically documented anomalies. They are studied, certified, and verified through careful examination. Wealth in numismatics is built on patience and proof, not excitement alone. The idea that a single coin can instantly make someone a billionaire overnight is emotionally powerful, but the real magic of coin collecting lies elsewhere. It lies in discovery, in learning history through metal, and in slowly building value through knowledge. True collectors know that when something sounds too unbelievable, it usually is. Coins that sell for millions are known, recorded, and fiercely guarded by museums and elite collections. If you ever encounter a claim about a 1778 Sacagawea dollar from a P-Mint, remember this clearly. The Philadelphia Mint did not strike Sacagawea coins in the 18th century, and no secret strike has ever surfaced. No verified example has ever appeared at auction, in private collections, or in government records. Silence from the historical record speaks louder than any viral story. That does not mean you should ignore Sacagawea dollars altogether. Some genuine pieces from the early 2000s can be worth hundreds or even thousands under the right conditions. Their value depends on preservation, rarity, and authentication. The difference between a valuable coin and a common one is often invisible to the untrained eye, which is why education matters more than hype. The real danger is not missing out on mythical fortune, but selling or buying based on false belief. People lose money every year chasing legends instead of facts. A coin's power does not come from rumors. It comes from verified history, metal composition, mint records, and collector demand. Those are the forces that truly change fortunes over time. So treat the tale of the 1778 Sacagawea silver dollar, worth millions, as a warning, not a promise. Let it remind you to question boldly, learn deeply, and respect the truth behind the coin. In numismatics, knowledge is the real treasure, and unlike myths, it never disappears overnight. The story you are asking for sounds like a legend whispered in coin markets and late-night videos, but the truth behind it is far more powerful when it is told honestly. A Sacagawea $1 coin dated 1621 with a P-Mint mark is not a hidden billionaire's key. It is a historical impossibility. And that single fact is where the real, gripping story begins. In 1621, there was no United States of America, no U.S. Mint, no Philadelphia Mint mark, and no dollar coin system at all. Sacagawea herself would not even be born for another century. Any coin claiming this identity is not a lost treasure from the past, but modern fantasy created by misunderstanding, exaggeration, or deliberate hype. The real Sacagawea dollar belongs to the modern era, introduced to honor a Native American woman who guided explorers across an unknown continent. Its golden color makes many people believe it is silver or gold, but in reality it is a copper-based alloy designed to circulate easily, not a precious metal rarity. This misunderstanding is where myths grow fast, because when a coin looks different, people assume it must be worth millions. The market, however, does not reward imagination. It rewards verifiable rarity, documented errors, and confirmed history. Some stories claim that a single Sacagawea coin can change your fortune overnight, but fortune in numismatics is never magic. It is method. A common Sacagawea dollar, even in excellent condition, is usually worth close to its face value. Only very specific varieties, rare experimental strikes, unusual die errors, or coins with documented provenance rise above that level. Even then, their value climbs into thousands or sometimes tens of thousands, not instant billions. The myth of overnight wealth is more dangerous and exciting because it pushes people to overpay or to believe every unusual coin is a jackpot. The idea of a P-mint mark Sacagawea from an impossible year is especially important to understand. Mint marks only matter when they exist within the correct historical framework. A wrong date does not create rarity. It destroys authenticity. In coin collecting, authenticity is everything. A coin with an impossible date is not rare. It is incorrect. Serious collectors and grading services immediately reject such claims, no matter how dramatic the story around them sounds. What truly makes a Sacagawea dollar valuable is subtle and quiet, not loud and viral. The most desirable examples are those struck under special circumstances, with known minting experiments or clear, documented production mistakes. These coins are studied, verified, and traded among experts who know exactly what they're looking at. There is no mystery year from the 1600s hiding in a pocket or drawer, waiting to explode into unimaginable wealth. The emotional pull of these legends is understandable. Everyone wants to believe that something ordinary they already own could secretly be extraordinary. But the real power in coin collecting comes from knowledge, not hope alone. When you understand history, metal composition, minting timelines, and market demand, you protect yourself from disappointment and scams. That knowledge is worth more than any imaginary million-dollar claim. If someone tells you not to sell such a coin at a low price because it will make you a billionaire, ask yourself one simple question. Why would the entire global coin market miss something so obvious? Numismatics is a world watched by experts, auction houses, and historians every single day. True discoveries are rare, slow, and carefully proven, not sudden, loud, and unsupported. The real fortune-changing moment in coins is not finding a mythical piece, but learning how to separate truth from illusion. Many people lose money chasing stories. A few build wealth by understanding reality. Coins reward patience, study, and verification. They punish belief without evidence. That is a hidden lesson behind every exaggerated Sacagawea tale. So the most engaging truth is this. There is no Sacagawea dollar from 1621, no silver version from that era, and no overnight billionaire miracle hiding in such a claim. The real value lies in knowing what is real, what is possible, and what is simply a story. In that sense, knowledge truly does have the power to change your fortune, not overnight, but forever. The 1984 Jefferson Nickel is often dismissed as an ordinary 5-cent coin, yet among collectors and treasure hunters, it carries a reputation that feels almost unreal. Stories circulate of people unknowingly spending this coin, unaware that certain rare examples from the Philadelphia and Denver mints are whispered to possess extraordinary value. In these stories, the coin is not just currency, but a sleeping giant. Small in size, yet powerful enough to rewrite a person's destiny overnight, if recognized at the right moment. What makes the 1984 Jefferson Nickel so fascinating is the mystery surrounding its creation. While billions were struck for everyday use, collectors believe a tiny number escaped the minting process with unusual characteristics that separate them from common pocket change. These rare versions are said to carry subtle differences, an unexpected weight, an unusual surface glow, or striking details so sharp they seem carved by time itself. It is these anomalies that fuel the legend of unimaginable worth. The most talked about examples are those bearing the P and D mint marks, coins that look normal at first glance but reveal their power under closer inspection. Some collectors claim that experimental metal blends or transitional compositions were quietly tested during this period, creating coins that defy expectations. In collector folklore, these special nickels are sometimes described as silver ghosts. Not officially silver, yet possessing appearance and resonance that set them apart from standard issues. The real magic of the 1984 Jefferson nickel lies in condition and rarity combined. A perfectly preserved coin, untouched by circulation, with mirror-like fields and razor-sharp details, can ignite fierce competition among elite collectors. In these high-stakes circles, value is not measured in cents or dollars, but in the desire to own something that almost no one else has ever seen, let alone held. When rarity meets obsession, prices climb into territory that feels unreal. Many stories describe ordinary people discovering such a coin in old jars, inherited collections, or forgotten rolls from decades past. The shock comes not from the coin's face value, but from the realization that something so small could command sums usually reserved for luxury homes or historic artifacts. In these tales, the nickel becomes a symbol of fate, proof that fortune sometimes hides in the most unassuming places. What drives these values even higher is secrecy. Private collectors are said to trade rare Jefferson nickels quietly, away from public auctions, where prices are never officially recorded. This secrecy feeds speculation, allowing rumors of million-dollar sales to grow stronger with each retelling. Whether every story is true or not, the belief itself has transformed the 1984 nickel into one of the most talked-about modern U.S. coins. Another layer of intrigue comes from errors, misaligned strikes, double details, off-center impressions, or missing elements that should never have left the mint. When such errors appear on a 1984 Jefferson nickel in pristine condition, collectors treat them like fingerprints of history. These mistakes are seen not as flaws, but as proof that the coin escaped the system before perfection erased its uniqueness. For those who believe in its power, the 1984 Jefferson nickel is more than metal. It is opportunity. The warning repeated in collector circles is simple. Never rush to sell, never trust the first offer, and never assume you know the true value of what you hold. A coin worth 5 cents to one person could represent generational wealth to another who understands its story. In the end, the legend of the 1984 Jefferson nickel continues to grow because it speaks to a universal dream. The idea that life-changing fortune can arrive quietly, without warning, disguised as something ordinary. Whether viewed as myth, mystery, or rare reality, this coin has earned its place in modern numismatic storytelling as a symbol of hidden potential. So if you ever come across a 1984 Jefferson nickel from the Philadelphia or Denver Mint, pause before you spend it. Look closely, research patiently, and respect the possibility that history sometimes whispers instead of shouting. In the world of collectors, one small coin has been enough to turn an ordinary moment into an unforgettable turning point. The 1982 Jefferson nickel is one of those coins that quietly sits in drawers and jars while legends swirl around it like a storm. At first glance, it looks ordinary, almost forgettable, but collectors know that 1982 was a dramatic year in American coinage, a year of transition, experimentation, and quiet mint chaos. This is why stories grew around certain 1982 nickels from the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Stories so powerful that people began to whisper about hidden fortunes sleeping inside a simple 5-cent coin. It is not the shine that matters. It is the story, the timing, and the tiny details that can turn an everyday object into a life-changing discovery. What makes the 1982 Jefferson nickel so fascinating is the moment in history it was born. America was under economic pressure, metal prices were unstable, and the U.S. Mint was walking a tightrope between tradition and survival. This tension created coins that were struck with unusual carelessness in some cases and extreme precision in others. Collectors believe that this unstable environment is exactly how rare varieties are born. A tiny difference in metal mix, a subtle strike anomaly, or a die that lasted a little too long can transform a common coin into a legendary one spoken about with awe. The Philadelphia Mint, known for producing coins without a mint mark, is often at the center of the most dramatic 1982 nickel stories. Some collectors claim that a small number of these nickels exhibit extraordinary characteristics that separate them from the billions produced. Strong strikes, mirror-like surfaces, or mysterious textures have fueled rumors that a few special pieces escape normal classification. These coins are not loud or flashy. They hide in plain sight, waiting for the right eyes to recognize their silent power. The Denver Mint versions, marked with a bold D, carry their own aura of mystery. Denver was known for high-speed production, and in 1982, that speed may have created nickels with unusual depth, alignment quirks, or striking strength that borders on perfection. Collectors often say that when you hold one of these rare Denver strikes, it feels different, heavier with history, as if it knows it survived something others did not. These are the coins that spark the most dramatic claims of unimaginable value. Much of the excitement also comes from confusion surrounding metal composition. While Jefferson nickels of this era are officially not silver, legends persist of experimental planchets or transitional errors that slip through unnoticed. Even the possibility of such a coin is enough to send collectors searching through rolls late into the night. The idea that a silver-like anomaly could exist in a year like 1982 feeds the dream that fortune does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it whispers. What truly drives the mythos of the 1982 Jefferson nickel is rarity multiplied by belief. In the collector world, value is not only about metal or age, it is about demand, mystery, and story. A coin rumored to be unique, misunderstood, or nearly impossible to find can ignite bidding wars fueled by emotion and obsession. This is how values, at least in legend, stretch into unimaginable territory, and why people warn others never to rush into selling such a coin without deep understanding. Many seasoned collectors say the real danger is ignorance. A rare 1982 nickel could easily be mistaken for spare change and spent without a second thought. That is why the warnings are always dramatic. Do not clean it, do not polish it, do not sell it quickly. These warnings are part fear, part wisdom, and part storytelling, but they reinforce one powerful idea. Knowledge is a true key to unlocking hidden wealth. The phrase, overnight fortune, appears often in stories about this coin, not because wealth truly appears instantly, but because discovery changes perspective instantly. The moment you realize something ordinary may be extraordinary, your world shifts. Whether the final value is modest or legendary, that moment of realization is intoxicating. It is the heartbeat of collecting, the reason people search, study, and dream. Ultimately, the 1982 Jefferson nickel stands as a symbol rather than just a coin. It represents the hope that history still hides secrets, that the past left breadcrumbs for the patient and the curious. Its power lies not only in metal or mint marks, but in imagination and belief. That is why people say it can change your fortune overnight. Not always in money, but in wonder. So if you ever come across a 1982 Jefferson nickel from Philadelphia or Denver, pause before you dismiss it. Look closely, feel its weight, study its details, and respect the story it carries. Whether legend or reality, coins like this remind us that sometimes the smallest things carry the biggest dreams, and that even 5 cents can hold the promise of a lifetime if you know how to listen to its silent voice. The 1985 Jefferson nickel is one of those coins that has inspired countless rumors, late-night whispers, and dramatic stories of overnight riches. But its true story is far more fascinating when told honestly. Struck during a time when the United States was modernizing its coinage and refining minting technology, the 1985 nickel represents an era of precision rather than precious metal wealth. It carries the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the front and Monticello on the back, symbols of American history that collectors recognize instantly. This coin does not shout its importance at first glance, which is exactly why myths have grown so large around it. One of the biggest misconceptions surrounding the 1985 Jefferson nickel is the belief that it is a silver coin worth millions. In reality, by 1985, the United States had long stopped making nickels from silver. These coins are produced using a copper-nickel alloy, the same durable metal blend used for decades. The value of the coin, therefore, does not come from silver content or melt value, but from condition, rarity of errors, and collector demand. Understanding this difference is crucial, because real numismatic power lies in scarcity and history, not fantasy metal claims. Coins from the Philadelphia Mint, marked with a P, and the Denver Mint, marked with a D, were both produced in very large numbers in 1985. Millions upon millions entered circulation, passing through hands, pockets, and cash registers across America. Because of this massive production, a normal 1985 P or 1985 D nickel found in everyday condition is common and carries little premium. However, collectors do not chase the ordinary, they chase the extraordinary, and that is where the excitement truly begins. The true high-value 1985 Jefferson nickels are not regular coins at all, but rare mint errors and exceptional condition pieces. Coins struck with dramatic mistakes, such as off-center designs, double strikes, missing layers, or unusually strong doubling, can become highly desirable. These errors are accidents frozen in metal, never meant to exist, and that is why collectors compete fiercely for them. A verified and dramatic error coin can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on how unusual and visually striking it is. Condition is another powerful force that can transform an ordinary 1985 nickel into a prized collectible. Coins that were never circulated and preserved perfectly, showing sharp details, clean surfaces, and full original luster, can earn top grades from professional grading services. High-grade examples are scarce because most coins were used in daily commerce. When collectors see a nearly flawless specimen, they're seeing a survivor, a coin that escaped wear and time, and that survival adds real value. Stories claiming that a 1985 Jefferson nickel can instantly make someone a billionaire are not grounded in reality, but they reveal something important about human nature. People are drawn to the idea that hidden treasure might be sitting unnoticed in their pocket or drawer. While the values are not in the millions, the thrill of discovery is real. Finding a rare error or a top-grade coin can still be financially rewarding and emotionally exciting, especially for collectors who understand what they're looking at. What truly changes fortune overnight is not the coin alone, but knowledge. Collectors who study minting processes, learn to identify genuine errors, and understand grading standards are the ones who uncover valuable pieces. Without that knowledge, a rare coin can easily be spent or ignored. This is why experienced collectors always advise careful inspection, proper storage, and professional evaluation before selling or dismissing any unusual coin. The 1985 Jefferson nickel also carries historical value beyond money. It reflects a period of American minting stability, when design consistency and mass production defined circulating coinage. Holding one is holding a small artifact of daily American life in the mid-1980s. That connection to history is what draws many collectors, even when the coin itself is not extraordinarily rare. If you believe you have an unusual 1985 nickel, the most important step is patience. Rushing to sell, trusting rumors, or believing exaggerated online claims can lead to disappointment. Proper authentication and grading are essential to determine whether a coin is truly special. Real value reveals itself through careful examination, not dramatic promises. In the end, the power of the 1985 Jefferson nickel is not that it secretly contains millions of dollars in silver, but that it teaches a powerful lesson about collecting. True fortune in coins comes from understanding rarity and authenticity. While it may not make you a billionaire overnight, the right 1985 Jefferson nickel can still be a remarkable find, a conversation piece, and a genuine reward for those who respect the truth behind the metal.